yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No pain for fantasy. Just like the wind.
The month of November is nearly over, and we are headed into December, looking to close out 2023 on the highest note possible. And if you guys are filing on in, I'm here. That could only mean one thing. Let me check my calendar. I got this cool feature where I actually have a calendar on my watch right here. I'm not even kidding you. If you see me in real life, if you meet me in real life, I will show you this feature. It is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. What's wrong with my mic? Are you serious? My mic's having trouble. My mic is legitimately having trouble. Let me see how I sound right now. Unbelievable. Hold on a minute. My mic's already having trouble. It's unbelievable. Let me go to the settings. Let me go to audio. How about that? Did that work? Did that work? Automatically, let me take that off. There we go. How about that? Did that fix it up? Did that fix it up a bit? Please tell me that fixed it up a bit. Unbelievable. It's unreal. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Hold on a minute.
Try it again. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Let me go to settings, audio, blue snowball. Blue snowball. Is it good now? Please. Unbelievable. There we go. There we go. Now it's working. Unbelievable. Technology. Every goddamn time. It's unbelievable. Regardless, I think you already know what I was going to say. It's Saturday, and you know what that means. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the one and only DJ Storms, and I would like to welcome each and every single one of you back here to the greatest show on earth, as we are streaming live on 3 different platforms across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different accounts. I decided to ditch the Hardcore Sports Twitch, and many of people regarding Hardcore Sports have decided to ditch it as well, because Twitch is absolute garbage. But as of course, you already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle. No. Hold on. Can we just stop? We just need to stop. We need to stop. We need to stop, and we need to just take a deep breath. I just want you to inhale. I just need you to go. Oh. Do it one more time. Just one more time. Oh. Do you smell that? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? That is the smell of pure, unadulterated excellence Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh yeah, man. To mankind. And this is the official Lightning Flash update for Saturday, November 25th, 2023, the final LFU of the month of November. As we head into December, the final month of the year, and we get ready to start anew. We get ready to go into 2024 with our heads held high, getting ready for whatever the year has to offer. And I am DJ Shizzle Dizzle. Thank you very much for joining me here on Saturday afternoon. Thank you very much for choosing to spend your Saturday afternoons with the greatest of all time. We have plenty of good material, as per usual, to talk about here on the Lightning Flash update, including Triple H apparently being bothered by a certain fan perception, and we are going to talk about what that perception is. We are also talking about Darby Allin taking a break from AEW, Ronda Rousey, and her status following her Ring of Honor debut this past Thursday. On top of that, we're going to talk about the big plans for Dragon Lee, the Young Bucks taking a break from professional wrestling, and MJF. MJF has apparently quietly re-signed with AEW. We're going to talk about why he did it. We're going to talk about his future, and we're going to talk about why he doesn't need WWE, although I can absolutely see him going to WWE when this current AEW deal is up. Thank you very much to Jeremy Lewis. Thank you very much to Dee Dee, the final horse, and Maria. You guys are fantastic. Please, if you're just filing on in, make yourself known. Make yourself known. Spark up the conversation, that's for sure, because it's always good when the people of the social media realm come on in, spark up the conversation here with DJ Storms. Greatly appreciate every single one of you. If you guys have not already done so, please make sure that you are following me on social media, including X and Instagram at HistoryMakerDJS. Once again, that is at HistoryMakerDJS, both on X and Instagram. You can also add me on my personal Facebook as well. For collaborations and business inquiries, please send me an email. My email is, of course, StormsTakeOver@gmail.com. Like the official DJ Storms business page, and I may just send you an invite to join the official DJ Storms Posse group on Facebook. That is, we are actually both live on the DJ Storms Posse business page and the DJ Storms Posse group. Please go and like the stream over there if you are watching on Facebook. I would also like to give a shout out to HooliGrim. Shout out to HooliGrim. HooliGrim, he appeared on my show this past Tuesday. He appeared on the rundown for WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023. If you guys missed it, you can go and check that out. It is up on the channel right now, and I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is in the description link. I'm taking a look at it right now, and yes, indeed, it is in the description link. So if you guys missed the rundown for Survivor Series War Games with HooliGrim, please go check that out. Link is in the description. I would like to shout out some sponsorships as well. First off, shout out to my girl, Brittany K. She is a wonderful woman. She is a good friend of mine, and she is a big supporter of the channel. She does beautifully crafted wrestling designs. She does designs and drawings from scratch on her iPad of various pro wrestlers from various different promotions, and she also does custom-made Twitter avies and banners. So if you guys are looking for a great drawing of a pro wrestler, or if you guys are looking for a Twitter avie and banner, She is your girl. Go and follow her on social media. Her X account is Brittany K5150, while her Instagram account is Brittany K Designs. Go and check her out. You will not regret it. Shout out to Jay Leto of the PWP Nation brand. We are currently live on the PWP Nation Facebook page as we speak. That is how Maria is watching us right now. Please, if you have not already done so, please make sure that you share out the stream. Whether you're watching on Facebook, X, or YouTube, it is incredibly vital that you do so that way we can get as many people in here as possible. Shout out to Richard Howie for stopping on by. I greatly appreciate you. You only comment under my post. You never really come on into my stream, so I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you get the full DJ Storms experience. Trust me, you will not regret it. You'll be coming back for more. So shout out to Jay Leto of PWP Nation. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but he's a great guy. He's a great guy, very, very knowledgeable individual, and I greatly appreciate him and the partnership of PWP Nation with the DJ Storms brand. Go and check out the PWP Nation Facebook page. We are on the road to 42,000 followers. Please go check it out. It's incredibly vital. 42,000 followers. We are just under 200 away from 42,000. We're looking to get to 43, 45,000, 50,000, and then 100,000. That's going to be a big celebration for sure. And go check out the PWP Nation website. Jay Leto is looking to invest heavily in the PWP Nation website to get an even bigger outreach than we have as we speak. And then finally, my final sponsorship shout out is Corporate Information Systems. With more than 4 decades of experience, Corporate Information Systems is recognized by Forbes as one of America's best recruiting firms. They specialize in providing recruiting solutions to companies in a variety of industries such as high tech, food and beverage, construction, and medical devices. Now, finding the right candidates can be a time-consuming and challenging process, which is why CIS offers a wide range of services designed to make your recruitment process easier and more efficient. They provide a seamless and stress-free experience for both clients and candidates. So if you guys are looking for a trusted recruiting partner to help fulfill your hiring needs or help advance your career, please go and contact my friends over at Corporate Information Systems. You can check out their website, which is www.cisrecruiters.com. Once again, www.cisrecruiters.com. Corporate Information System, placing talent where it can thrive. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, like the stream, whether it be on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. Share it out, whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, even though Twitch sucks. Share it out there, whatever social media platforms that you may be using. We're going to get a nice wide outreach, and we are going to have a great time because it's always a good time when you're watching DJ Shizzle Bizzle. We're going to have a fun time, talk some pro wrestling, get ready for Survivor Series. We also got a doubleheader tonight of Rampage and Collision, so I figured I'll probably watch Rampage and then dive into Survivor Series, watch Collision afterwards. Speaking of Survivor Series, tomorrow is the rewind for Survivor Series at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be going over everything that takes place tonight in Chicago. They got a very nice setup over in the Allstate Arena, so it is certainly going to be a newsworthy night. I'm taking a look at the card up and down. It could very well be the best WWE PLE of 2023 if they do want to play their cards right and they do go all in. It could, honest to God, be a banger of a show. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to the 2 War Games matches. I'm looking forward to Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar. That right there is an NXT TakeOver style match. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. And after you guys are done sharing out the stream, please make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, whether it be on the Hardcore Sports YouTube channel or my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. It's very vital that you do so because that way it helps me out, helps the Hardcore Sports brand out. We are this close to 1,000 subscribers on the Hardcore Sports brand, and we just surpassed 2,200 subscribers. That is right. We just surpassed 2,200 subs for the DJ Storms YouTube channel. So if you guys are not already subscribed to the DJ Storms YouTube channel, which we are live on right now, please go and do that as we speak, because we are moving on to 2,300 and 24 and 25. We're going all the way to 3,000. We are looking to grow our audience exponentially in 2024 specifically. So please go out of your way, subscribe to my channel, and subscribe to the Hardcore Sports channel as well. Please make sure when you subscribe, this is the most important part, you got to hit that notifications bell with a huge coup de grace, because that way you're going to know whenever I pop up on YouTube. Because whenever I pop up on YouTube, oh, baby, it is the best time to be on YouTube. You know why? Because it's the only time that you can get to see this glorious sideburn chin strap combination and this beautiful mustache right here. Hold on. You know what time it is. It's in here somewhere. It's going to go digging. It's over the river and through the woods. Here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Take a look at that. This beautifully crafted magical ace black comb. Hold on. I gotta blow on it. It is sizzling. It is hot. So we are going to light it up right here on the LFU, the final LFU of the month of November. We're going to light it up with a little and a dash of and a whole lot of because like hot, fresh, homemade meatball pizza, I am just so good. I am tasty. I am sizzling, and everyone knows that everyone wants a piece of the Stormsmeister. How you doing, John Blaine? Please go over to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Hit that subscribe button and share the stream out on all platforms of social media. Thank you all for the support. I greatly appreciate it. It certainly means a lot. Anyway, enough of the self-brand promotion, the advertisements. I say that we get straight into the festivities here on the DJ Storms channel, and we are going to get into the news, rumors, and reports. My first report, I wish I was actually starting off with a bit more positive news, but apparently there was an issue last weekend. There was an issue last weekend with Hulk Hogan's son, Nick Hogan. Nick Hogan, last Saturday at 4 a.m., was apparently arrested for a DUI in Clearwater, Florida. Now, I did not really go in depth as to what's going on, but when it comes to DUIs, it is very, very, very touchy of a subject. And I, honest to God, do not know what's going on. I'm not sure whose mistake it was. I'm not sure who was not keeping an eye on Nick Hogan. I'm not sure if Nick Hogan was even aware that he was not coherent enough to drive. But it's clear as day that Nick Hogan screwed up, and Nick Hogan obviously is paying the consequences. It's pretty much that. That's pretty much that. DUI for Nick Hogan. Moving on here, let's talk about AEW talent, specifically Darby Allin. Now, Darby Allin, he had a match at Full Gear alongside Adam Copeland and Sting, where they defeated the Patriarchy. The Patriarchy is a trio comprised of Nick Wayne, Luchasaurus, and the TNT champion Christian Cage. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez noted that Darby Allin will be off of AEW television for a while following Full Gear. The reason being is because he'll be flying out to China soon in order to train for his trip to climb Mount Everest. Now, I am a big Darby Allin guy. I'm a big Darby Allin guy. I'm sure a lot of AEW fans are big Darby Allin people. Darby Allin is the future of the business. Darby Allin is a future world champion. Darby Allin is easily one of the most valuable assets to All Elite Wrestling that we've had. He is probably one of their best homegrown talents that we've seen. However, where he is right now, I think he can afford to take some time off. Darby's great, but they haven't really experimented with Darby Allin too much outside of the TNT Championship and obviously his partnership with Sting. They had that incident with MJF and the other three pillars where they had the four pillars fatal four-way back at Double or Nothing, which was a fantastic fatal four-way. Fantastic fatal four-way, easily one of the best fatal four-ways of the modern era, easily one of the best matches of the year. But outside of that, they haven't really done too much experimenting with Darby Allin. Darby Allin, they've played it pretty safe with. He's almost kind of been condensed in a little bubble. And I would love to see Darby Allin branch out. I would love to see Darby Allin mix it up for the International Championship. I would love to see Darby Allin potentially go down to Ring of Honor to work with the people down there. I'd love to see Darby Allin and Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor World Championship. I would absolutely love to see a match like Darby Allin and Ethan Page potentially for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. You know, maybe mix it up with Katsuyori Shibata a bit for the Pure Championship. I would love to see some experimenting with Darby Allin, but they haven't really crossed that line yet. So maybe Darby Allin taking a little break off of TV, that's probably the best route for him. And on top of that, they don't really need Darby Allin in order to continue the Christian Cage and Adam Copeland feud. The feud is going to be built around Adam Copeland and Christian Cage probably going into World's End. Christian Cage will probably win that match, and then maybe Adam Copeland is the guy to cost Christian Cage the TNT Championship, and then we get the final blow-off match at Revolution. But either way, Darby and Sting are not needed to continue the Adam Copeland-Christian Cage program. So maybe Darby taking a little break, that is what is needed for the foreseeable future. Because there's really nothing left for Darby to do outside of the International Championship and the Ring of Honor brand. Unless they do want to make him world champion one day, which I do believe is going to happen. But at this very moment, Darby Allin is not going to be winning the world championship because MJF, he is doing some great work. He's probably doing the best work in all of the industry right now as the AEW World Champion. MJF is number one in the industry, and he's going to be number one in the industry for the foreseeable future. He is not going to be losing the championship anytime soon. Speaking of Full Gear, they had a press conference. They had a press conference last Saturday after Full Gear pay-per-view was over, and Tony Khan disclosed the status of Ronda Rousey's AEW deal. He confirmed that she does not have an AEW deal. He has not signed Ronda Rousey. However, he would love to have her back in the future. Now, apparently there was some tensions between AEW and Ronda Rousey, specifically because it came together last minute, and Ronda Rousey really did not want to be tied down to a promotion. All she wanted to do was go and help out her friend Marina Shafir, and she wanted to tag team with her, which is exactly why she did the PW Revolver show, and then she did the Ring of Honor TV taping. However, it was reported by PW Insider that Ronda Rousey seemed very happy with her match on Ring of Honor television. She even circled around the ring after the match to take some pictures with the fans. Now, I'm sure a lot of people over here, they have really soured on Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey really has done nothing of note ever since she came back for her second go-around with the WWE. The best thing that Ronda Rousey did in her second run with the WWE was probably put on what was a very good TV match with Raquel Rodriguez. I remember Raquel and Ronda actually put on a very, very, very solid match back on the final SmackDown of 2023. I believe it was December 30th. I believe it was December 30th, 2022. And that was the show in which Ronda beat Raquel in a pretty decent match. And then Charlotte Flair came out and she beat Ronda Rousey within 60 seconds to win back the championship that Ronda took from her 8 months prior. And Charlotte Flair running the same gag as she has been for the last 9 years. Charlotte Flair is always in the title picture. I watched the match at PW Revolver, and I also watched bits and pieces of the tag team match with her, Marina Shafir, Athena, and Billy Starks. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure how exactly they brought it together, but I have to admit, and everyone knows this, I am fair. I'm a very fair individual. I have no biases. If something goes wrong, I'm going to call it out. If something is good, I'm going to praise it. Ronda Rousey, for some weird reason, I don't know what it was, she did not look that bad. She almost looked a little bit more fluid. She almost looked a little bit more motivated. Maybe it was WWE that she did not want to work for anymore. Maybe it was the fact that she was just done with World Wrestling Entertainment and she didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be tied down to a promotion and she just wanted to do her own thing. I watched the match with Athena, Billy Starks, and Marina Shafir, and her and Marina Shafir were pulling out some really nice double team moves. Ronda was moving around the ring very, very nicely. She was breaking out some new moves. She was really mixing it up with Athena. She was taking bumps. She was taking some hard hits. She looked very good. She looked very good in there. And I even discussed this with HooliGrim. I discussed this with HooliGrim on the rundown for Survivor Series a couple days ago. And we actually discussed how we would not mind if Ronda Rousey was brought in as a big-time matchup for Athena at Final Battle. He would not mind if Ronda Rousey was brought in for a big-time money match with Athena at Final Battle, and Athena was put over by Ronda Rousey. So, I don't know what it was, but Ronda looked motivated. And when someone looks motivated, they are for sure going to bring out the best that they could possibly bring out. And then on top of that, you got Athena. And Athena right now, she's the number one woman in the industry. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anyone says whatsoever. It's not Rhea Ripley. It's not Io Sky. It's not Becky Lynch. It's not Lyra Valkyria. It is Athena. Athena is the number one woman in the industry. Athena has had the best women's title reign all year. Athena has been booked like an absolute beast. She has been unpinned and unsubmitted in Ring of Honor sanctioned bouts. The only time that she was pinned this year was on Rampage against Willow Nightingale in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Outside of that, Athena has not been touched this year. She main evented Death Before Dishonor in what was easily one of the best women's matches all year with Willow Nightingale. She's approaching 1 year as the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, and she is showing no signs of slowing down whatsoever. This is the best work of Athena's career as we speak. So when you're in there with someone like Athena, you are going to have to bring your A game. And Ronda, she didn't do too bad. She didn't do too bad at all. So in a weird way, I would not mind if Ronda Rousey was brought in to put over Athena at Final Battle. I got a report from Fightful regarding Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, apparently, according to Fightful, has been in discussion to gain a new opening theme song. Now, I understand that a theme song really isn't that big of a deal when it comes to a pro wrestling show. I understand that a theme song is a very, very minuscule thing when it comes to the opening 30, 35 seconds of a pro wrestling show. We're all there to watch pro wrestling. We're all there to watch some great promos. We're all there to watch banger matches. That I understand. However, a new theme song could definitely amp up the feeling of Monday Night Raw just a little bit. Now, we've been getting some decent episodes of Monday Night Raw in the last couple of weeks. We've been seeing Shinsuke Nakamura mix it up with a lot of people. He's been putting on some decent matches. We've seen some really good tag team matches with the likes of DIY and the Creed Brothers and the Alpha Academy, and DIY and Imperium's been mixing it up as well. The Judgment Day and the Street Profits, they had a decent match last night on SmackDown. LA Knight and Kevin Owens versus A-Town Down Under. We've been getting some really, really solid wrestling on WWE TV. We've been getting some really good main events. We've been getting Seth Rollins as the flag bearer of Monday Night Raw. He's been killing it as the World Heavyweight Champion. This is Seth Rollins' best world title reign of his entire run. We actually got some really good women's wrestling this past Monday on Raw, which actually surprised me. But an opening theme song, I definitely believe that that would give Monday Night Raw just a little bit of a boost. I'm not saying that we're going to get a song that's as good as To Be Loved by Papa Roach or Across the Nation by Union Underground. I mean, those two songs are top tier. But the song that they have right now, I don't know what it's called. Greatness. Yeah, it feels like greatness. It's terrible. It's a terrible song. And it, honest to God, makes me dread Monday Night Raw. Legendary by Skillet. That was actually a great theme song for Monday Night Raw. I take Legendary 10 times out of 10 over whatever theme song that we got right now. That's a terrible theme song. So we need a new theme song for Monday Night Raw, and I definitely believe it would help the vibe surrounding Monday Night Raw. It would get people just a little bit more excited. And then obviously when you get the new theme song, obviously you can work on the in-ring product, you can work on the stories, you can work on the promos, you can work on the structure of the shows, you can work on everything else in between. But I do believe that Raw will benefit from a new theme song. Sticking with Fightful, they reported that Juice Robinson has sustained a back injury that will require surgery. It is not expected to be an extremely drawn-out absence. However, Juice Robinson is expected to be out for at least the rest of the year. Now, this sucks for Juice Robinson, and I really, really, really do hope that it's not a serious injury, and it doesn't require a long road to recovery. Because Bullet Club Gold, as we speak, they are perhaps the best possible candidates to take the AEW World Trios Championships off of Daddy Ass and the Acclaimed. I actually thought that was going to be the match at Full Gear, but the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass, they were taken out by the Devil and his minions. They were taken out by whoever is stalking MJF, whoever is playing mind games with MJF, which I do believe is Adam Cole. If you saw what happened on Wednesday, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I do hope that it's not a long, drawn-out period of absence, because we need to get Juice Robinson back on TV, and we need to get Juice Robinson and the Guns in the hunt for the Trios Championships. We need Juice Robinson and the Guns versus the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass at World's End, with the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass dropping the Trios Championships to Bullet Club Gold. They are more than worthy of some championships. We already know that Jay White wasn't winning the World Championship. We all know that Jay White's not going to win the Continental Classic. We all knew that they weren't going to beat FTR back in July. But if anything, the World Trios Championships, they were bred for Bullet Club Gold. So I wish Juice Robinson a speedy recovery, and I do hope that he comes back quick, because we need championships on Bullet Club Gold immediately. I got a report regarding Triple H. Now, this came from Ibu of Wrestle Purists. Again, accounting major, not English major. He was talking to some people on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he reported that Triple H is actively bothered by the perception that Japanese and Mexican pro wrestlers can't succeed in the WWE. Now, this seems to be the reason why the likes of Kairi Sane and Dragon Lee have been booked so strongly on Friday Night SmackDown. I understand that he may be actively bothered, but in the end, all of this revolves around Vince. Vince might not be in control anymore, but his presence and the damage that Vince McMahon has done will be felt for many, many, many years. It is going to take a long, and I mean a long, long time to repair what Vince McMahon damaged. Vince McMahon has created such a negative vibe around WWE. Vince McMahon destroyed the pro wrestling business. He destroyed the pro wrestling business when he just shoved this sports entertainment garbage down everyone's throat. So much so that when you talk to a non-wrestling fan about pro wrestling, they go, "Oh, you still watch that? You know that it's fake, right?" So such a negative vibe around the sport as a whole. That's all on Vince McMahon. And then on top of that, you take a look at what happened in NXT. You take a look at all of the talent that Triple H had in NXT and what he did. You take a look at what he did for everyone down there in NXT. You take a look at Asuka, Japanese talent. Shinsuke Nakamura, Japanese talent. Hideo Itami, Japanese talent. How many Mexican pro wrestlers? Kalisto, Sin Cara. They went through NXT. The Lucha Dragons. They were a fantastic tag team. Fantastic tag team. And what did they do? They essentially became jobbers on the main roster. Asuka, she lost her undefeated streak to Charlotte Flair. Shinsuke Nakamura, he lost to Jinder Mahal at the second biggest show of the year when he should have won the championship and taken that championship into WrestleMania to fight AJ Styles. I mean, need I say more? This all revolves around Vince McMahon. And then don't even get me started on the women's division. It runs a hell of a lot deeper than just Japanese and Mexican professional wrestlers. This runs much deeper, much deeper than that. This runs through tag team wrestling. This runs through women's wrestling. This runs through mid-card wrestling. And right now, it's running through the main event scene. Look at what they're doing with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns right now, no matter how you want to slice it, Roman Reigns right now is a detriment to the industry. He's not doing any good. And Triple H realizes that. I don't think he's stupid. Triple H now needs to figure out a way to get back to where we were back at WrestleMania 39, and he needs to pull the trigger at WrestleMania 40, just like he should have at WrestleMania 39. I truthfully believe that if it was not for Vince McMahon, Cody Rhodes would have beaten Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Triple H, when he made that announcement of the World Heavyweight Championship, he looked like he didn't even want to make that announcement. He looked like he didn't even want to be there. Triple H has tried. He's tried. But it's going to take a long, long time for the WWE to get that good vibe around them again. The WWE has had such a negative vibe around it, all because of Vince McMahon and just his complete mistreatment of not only Japanese talent, not only Mexican talent, not just tag teams, not just women's wrestling, but the entire business as a whole. People always want to come out of the woodworks and praise Vince McMahon left and right for everything that he's done. What has he done that's so great in the modern era? I don't care if he made this into $1 billion promotion. I don't care if he is the reason that pro wrestling is as mainstream as it is today. I don't care. Past glory does not excuse present day screw-ups. And Vince McMahon has screwed up, and Vince McMahon has deliberately made an embarrassment out of professional wrestling. It wasn't until Tony Khan came around with AEW that pro wrestling decided to become cool again. And obviously you had NXT Black and Gold as well. It was Triple H and it was Tony Khan. NXT Black and Gold, AEW, they made pro wrestling cool again. And even then, Tony Khan, he's got his own problems that he needs to worry about. But at least Tony Khan, he goes out there and he gives us professional wrestling. Just like he'll give us pro wrestling tonight with the Continental Classic. Just like he gave us pro wrestling with Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland at Full Gear. Just like he gave us pro wrestling with Darby Allin and MJF back at Full Gear 2021. Just like he gave us pro wrestling at All In. Triple H, I do have faith that he is going to get that vibe back to positive around WWE. But it's going to take a long, long time. And truthfully, I said it once, I'll say it again. The true process of change is not going to be able to start until Roman Reigns is no longer champion. It all starts at the top. Once it starts at the top, then we will begin to see other individuals coming up through the rankings, and other individuals will be able to grasp that spotlight, and everything will slowly but surely work itself out. But if Triple H, if he's actively bothered, blame it on Vince. Blame it on Vince. In the end, I can very well blame Triple H himself, because he could have stood up to Vince. He could have stood up to Vince, but he chose not to. I mentioned Dragon Lee and how strongly he has been booked on Friday Night SmackDown. Speaking of Dragon Lee, I got a report from the Wrestling Observer Radio in which Dave Meltzer noted that WWE has big plans for Dragon Lee. And part of those plans would be working with Rey Mysterio in some way. Not necessarily facing Rey Mysterio one-on-one, but potentially working alongside Rey Mysterio and having Rey Mysterio acknowledge Dragon Lee as the future of Lucha Libre. This is actually a great idea. I have been very, very high on Dragon Lee. And Dragon Lee, it's taken him a little bit to find his footing on the main roster, but he has finally found himself. And over the last couple of months, he has been putting on some bangers, both on Raw and SmackDown. So if Dragon Lee is going to work with Rey Mysterio, that is going to help enhance his career tenfold. I don't want to make comparisons because at the end of the day, you can't really compare modern day talent to past talent because you're ultimately putting a ceiling on them that they're never going to break through. You're ultimately putting a goal on them that they're never going to reach. But if anything, with Rey Mysterio acknowledging Dragon Lee as the future of Lucha Libre, if he does plan on working with Rey Mysterio, we could very well see Dragon Lee become to us what Rey Mysterio was to the fans back in the day, and Dragon Lee could, in a sense, become the modern version of Rey Mysterio. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what they do with Dragon Lee. And the fact that he's in a match with Santos Escobar tonight, that made the pay-per-view that much better. That made the pay-per-view that much better. I am a big Carlito guy. I think Carlito's great. But when you take a look at Carlito and when you take a look at the work that he's done since he's come back, he hasn't really done anything to speak to us that he's worthy. He's worthy of a PLE event. Not to say that he's bad, but in the end, he's already had a career. He's been tag team champion. He's been United States champion. He's been intercontinental champion. With Dragon Lee in that spotlight, the match went from becoming a pre-show match to becoming an NXT TakeOver-like match. You give those two 15 minutes, they are going to cook, and I mean cook. I'm talking about like a top-tier, 5-star restaurant chef making some chicken stir fry, whatever you want to call it, making a nice prime rib with some cheddar cheese, mashed potatoes on the side. They're going to cook. They are going to cook tonight if I've ever seen two wrestlers cook. Believe me on that. So I'm very, very happy that they actually replaced Carlito with Dragon Lee. And on top of that, we'll still get Carlito versus Santos Escobar. We can get it on a SmackDown. We can easily get it on a SmackDown, and we'll be fine. I'm sure that after tonight, a lot of people are going to be saying, yeah, replacing Carlito with Dragon Lee, that was probably the best move. Young Bucks. The Young Bucks, apparently, according to Sean Ross Sapp, he reported that the Young Bucks are set to undergo a noticeable shift in behavior, which has been prominently featured on recent AEW TV. Brandon Cutler recently mentioned that the Young Bucks will be stepping away from wrestling, though there's additional context behind it. Cutler seems like he'll be doing a lot of the speaking for the Bucks on their behalf going forward. And Dave Meltzer even reported that being the Elite, it is finished up. And it is not on a hiatus. It is legitimately done. Being the Elite is done. Being the Elite is finished. And going forward, the Young Bucks will not be making any newer episodes. There'll be no more Being the Elite with Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page. Things have finished up, and the Young Bucks will be going a drastic change in character. Now, I want to say this is a good thing. I really want to say this is a good thing in many aspects. The Young Bucks, it's clear as day that something has changed. Something has changed, and it almost seems like their true colors have been revealed. CM Punk was fired. CM Punk was fired. Rightfully so. Because he clearly could not control his anger. He clearly had an ego problem, and he clearly was the instigator of a lot of drama. However, it's not all on him. It was on the Bucks too. The Bucks were big-time drama instigators. The Bucks were big-time drama instigators, and the Bucks, it almost seems like their egos have been showing a little bit too much over the course of the last number of months. I don't know what it is. But it seems like the Bucks, they've just become so bothered by something. I don't know what it is. They've just become so bothered. I'm not sure if it's because of social media. I'm not sure if it's because of they know that Punk's going to go back to the WWE, and if he does go back, he's probably going to bury him. They're probably still upset over the counterfeit Bucks comment from CM Punk back in the day. But I've noticed that they have not been the same following All In. They've not been the same following All In. For better or for worse, I don't know. Now, it wasn't necessarily the Bucks that caused the issue. It was Jack Perry that caused the issue. But the Bucks, it's almost as if they've just been letting their egos run wild. And Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, I've noticed that there really hasn't been much interaction between Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page and the Bucks on AEW TV. After Blood and Guts, and we got done with the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, we've noticed that Hangman and Kenny Omega, they've been starting to distance themselves away from the Bucks. The only time that Hangman and the Bucks were embroiled in anything was when they beat the Mogul Embassy to become the Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Team Champions, and then they lost the titles right back to the Embassy on November 1st. It's very, very, very odd, to say the least. And Kenny Omega, it's very, very hard for me to listen to that promo that Kenny Omega cut on the Bucks backstage with Chris Jericho, where he called them selfish, whiny, bitchy children. It's very, very hard for me to listen to that and not think that that was a shoot. That was a shoot if I've ever heard one. I've been saying it for quite a few weeks now. I would not be shocked. Matter of fact, I truly believe that there is a rift. I truly believe that there is a rift between Hangman, Omega, and the Bucks. Because you've noticed, you take a look at Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page have been incredibly selfless this year. In the last year, we have seen Kenny Omega and Hangman Page lose more big matches than any major pro wrestler in the last year. I don't think I've ever seen a pro wrestler as big as Kenny Omega and a pro wrestler as big as Hangman Adam Page with the star power that they've accumulated with AEW. I don't think I've seen them lose as many big matches as they've lost. Truth be told, I think Hangman Page only has like 2 big match wins this year. Maybe 3. Kenny Omega, I think he only has maybe 1. You take a look at Hangman Page, and he put over Jon Moxley earlier this year. He put over the Blackpool Combat Club. Same thing with Omega. Kenny Omega, he helped put over the House of Black. He helped put over the Blackpool Combat Club. Kenny Omega put over Takeshita twice. Hangman Page put over Swerve Strickland twice. And you take a look at them, and when they come out, they still got that same vibe to them. They still got that same vibe that they're ready to go out there, and they're ready to have a great match, and they're ready to wrestle. The Young Bucks, I don't know what it is. It's almost like the Young Bucks, they've been so bitter. They've been acting so bitter. They've been acting so juvenile. It's almost as if they're just egging on all the fans to, instigate all this drama. I don't know what it is, but something has changed. And maybe a drastic change in character and the fact that being the Elite is now done, that right there could very well be what they need. Because being the Elite, I never really understood being the Elite. I never really understood it. I never really was a fan of it. I only watched Being the Elite maybe once or twice, and the only time that I ever watched it was when the Young Bucks had a match during the pandemic. I believe it was in May of 2020, and the Young Bucks had a match. It was Matt Jackson versus Nick Jackson during the pandemic, and it was in their backyard. It was legitimately in their backyard, and they had a legitimate cinematic match right in their backyard. And Matt Jackson beat Nick Jackson. I would actually be interested in seeing those two fight each other on AEW television. Matter of fact, if anything, I would actually like to see the Bucks feud with each other. I think that would probably be the most interesting thing for the Young Bucks going forward. Never mind a drastic character change. But maybe this is what they need. Maybe this is what they need. Because the Young Bucks, they're great at what they do. They're great at what they do, but they've been very, very overexposed. It's almost felt like they've been in too many big-time matchups this year. They've been in too many big-time matchups. They've been in too many tag team title matchups. They've just been shoved into the spotlight, and it's pretty much been the same thing over and over again. Yes, we get great matches out of it, but the vibe surrounding the Young Bucks, it almost feels similar to Charlotte Flair, how they're always in the spotlight, and people want to see new, fresh faces. So if the Young Bucks taking a break, if that is a step towards having a drastic character change and potentially giving new teams the opportunity, because I heard that Dante Martin and Mark Quinn are ready to come back. So if we're going to get Private Party back and we're going to get Top Flight back, that right there, to me, that speaks volumes. I think that right there, that's going to be one hell of an adrenaline boost to the tag team division. So if we're going to get a change in character for the Young Bucks, Private Party's back, Top Flight is back, tag team wrestling is going to be a major focus in 2024 for AEW. I really do like to hope that maybe the Young Bucks are assessing themselves. They're reassessing everything, and they are really acknowledging where they went wrong. Because at this rate, what more can they do? What more can they do? They're signed for the next 4 years for AEW. So they're not going to jump ship to WWE. And if Punk shows up, they're never going to jump ship to WWE. Let's be honest here. Maybe Punk's coming back. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're mad because CM Punk is back. Maybe Punk's the devil. Maybe Punk's going after MJF. I don't know. I honest to God don't know. But something's been going on with the Young Bucks. I really do hope that they get themselves together, because when the Young Bucks are at their best, when they're not instigating drama and they're not trying to cause any rifts between any wrestlers backstage, when they're not trying to start up drama for no reason, when they're not legitimately fighting with their own friends backstage, when there's no rifts between the elite, when the Bucks are just going out there and wrestling, the Young Bucks are at their best. So I really do hope that they get themselves settled. Dave Meltzer, he reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that AEW could be postponing Mercedes Moné's debut. And a lot of people were thinking that the mega signing for AEW at Full Gear, many people were guessing that it was Mercedes Moné. It ended up turning out to be Will Ospreay, which I was very, very happy about. But Dave Meltzer reported that there has been talks between AEW and Mercedes Moné, and they could be postponing her debut because they want her to fully recover from her ankle injury. She sustained a broken ankle all the way back at New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Resurgence back in May of this year, May 21st of this year, where she was defeated by Willow Nightingale. And Willow Nightingale became the first ever New Japan Strong Women's Champion. I don't mind the fact that they're waiting. I actually think that that is a smart strategy, if we're being completely honest here. Mercedes Moné is easily one of the best, if not the best, female professional wrestler of this generation. She has exceeded all expectations. We all know how much value Mercedes Moné really has. Unfortunately, she got injured. For all we know, she could have been at Forbidden Door. For all we know, she could have been at All In. For all we know, she could have very well been the signing that Tony Khan was talking about at Full Gear. It turned out to be Will Ospreay. I'm sure a lot of people were happy that it was Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay is easily one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet. But Dave Meltzer is reporting that they're waiting until Mercedes Moné fully recovers from her injury. That is not an issue whatsoever. Because if anything, if Mercedes Moné would have signed with AEW at Full Gear, what are they going to do with her? Just have her come out there for the next 5-6 weeks to cut promos until she's fully healed? I don't mind that they're waiting until she's fully healed. That is probably the best possible strategy for them. And my final report revolves around Maxwell Jacob Friedman. According to House of Wrestling, MJF is believed by several WWE sources to have quietly re-signed with AEW. One higher up within WWE stated that there have been zero talks, quote unquote, between the two sides. They further note that the idea Friedman is set to enter free agency imminently is a false narrative, and that they believe he has re-signed up until 2027. I absolutely believe the WWE's theories. I absolutely believe that MJF could have quietly re-signed with AEW. I don't understand where anyone came up with the idea that he could be entering free agency by the end of the year. The whole concept for the bidding war of 2024, it was nothing more than a narrative so MJF could just push his controversialness. That's the entire premise behind MJF. MJF is a controversial figure, whether he's a heel or whether he's a babyface. In the bidding war of 2024, that was part of the gimmick. Why would Tony Khan allow MJF to willingly go out there and talk about the bidding war of 2024 every single week, virtually? There was a point in time, whether it be the CM Punk feud, whether it be the Bryan Danielson feud, whether it be the Wardlow feud, every single time MJF always went out there and he talked about the bidding war of 2024. Why would Tony Khan allow MJF to go out there and talk about something like that? Talk about jumping ship to the other company. Talk about jumping ship to the most financially successful wrestling promotion on the planet, World Wrestling Entertainment. Why would Tony Khan allow MJF to do that if he hasn't already re-signed them? That's just bad promotion. That's just very, very bad organization. That's just juvenile. That's juvenile. That right there is almost, in a sense, career suicide, if you want to look at it that way. MJF is easily one of the most valuable assets to AEW. He may very well be just as valuable, if not more valuable, than Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and the Young Bucks. And those four are easily four of the most valuable assets, maybe the four valuable assets that AEW has needed to succeed. MJF, he has proved that he is just as valuable, if not more valuable than them. So why would Tony Khan risk MJF potentially jumping ship to the WWE? Now, does that mean that he's never going to the WWE? No, I do believe that one day MJF will go to WWE. But MJF re-signing here with AEW, this right here is a very, very strategic move on his part. Why would MJF go to WWE now? Where is there a place for MJF in WWE? Everyone that comes into WWE is ultimately going to end up looking inferior to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns right now, he is a dark cloud over the WWE. If MJF goes to WWE, he's going to end up just like Cody Rhodes ended up at WrestleMania 39. He's going to end up a loser. Every single individual that comes into the WWE ultimately is inferior because they are compared to Roman Reigns, who right now is the top dog in WWE, and boom, everyone else looks like a scrub. Where is there a place for MJF on WWE TV right now? Seriously, I need you all to sit and think, where is there a place on WWE TV for MJF? There's not. He's not needed. And on top of that, he doesn't need WWE. MJF does not need WWE whatsoever. MJF doesn't need WWE to be a megastar. MJF doesn't need WWE to become a legend. MJF is already number one in the industry. Doesn't matter what anyone wants to say about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has had a terrible year. Coming out of WrestleMania, Roman Reigns has had one of the worst years of his entire career. He's barely on the show. He doesn't defend the championship. He does not do anything for anyone. He ruined LA Knight's momentum. The Bloodline storyline makes no sense. Roman Reigns is nowhere close to being a top-tier major superstar this year in 2023. He's not even a draw. He's not even a draw. He's essentially the same thing as Brock Lesnar. He's a draw that doesn't draw. MJF is number one in the industry right now. Money and finances and ratings and numbers, none of that matters. There's only one thing that matters, and that is objective quality. Just like I always say, I speak objectively, not subjectively. This is why I exist. This is why I am a part of PWP Nation, because I'm doing the job that Jay Leto cannot do. Sorry, Jay, but it's true. I like it. Don't worry. We'll get stakes at some point in the next couple months. But MJF, he doesn't need WWE in order to be a legend. He's already a legend in the making right now. He's already a legend in the making just based off this one world title reign that he's had. He is undoubtedly, without a shadow of a doubt, the best AEW World Heavyweight Champion of all time in their short history. The company's been around for 5 years, and MJF, out of all the names that have held that championship, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Hangman Page, CM Punk, MJF is number one. MJF is number one. You know why? It's because he is that damn good. So why would MJF go to WWE when he's in the midst of one of the best world title reigns of the modern era, the best run of his career, and easily the best world title reign in the company's short history? Why would he jump ship? Be foolish of him to jump ship. He'll be a legend by the time his run in AEW is over. And on top of that, MJF knows just as well as everyone else that if he goes to WWE, things are not going to be the same as they were in AEW. For one specific reason. The WWE, we have had some really, really, really good individuals sign with WWE from the independent wrestling scene, and they have become major, major, major superstars. People like Bryan Danielson, people like Seth Rollins, people like Dragon Lee. He's on his way there. Dragon Lee's been doing great. Santos Escobar is going to be a great asset to WWE TV sooner rather than later. Look at Damian Priest. Look at Finn Balor. They've been having some really good careers over the course of the last number of years. But in the end, whether you want to admit it or not, everyone that signs with the WWE, it doesn't matter who you are. Especially in the last decade, it's become just as prominent as ever. Anyone that signs with the WWE is ultimately going to be watered down. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. MJF doesn't need WWE. He never needed WWE to become a legend. Look at Sting. Did anyone ever doubt that Sting was a legend before he came to WWE? Half of Sting's career he spent in TNA. Did anyone ever not call him a legend? No. Sting was one of the greatest of all time. Sting is absolutely a legend. He was a legend beyond a legend. Sting was a legend before he came to WWE, and MJF will be a legend before he comes to WWE. But MJF knows just as well as everyone else that he will not be allowed to do the same things that he's doing in AEW. He may be able to wrestle the same. He may have the same name. He may have the same wrestling attire. Hell, he may have the same theme music. But the character, that right there is what differentiates MJF from everyone else. The character differentiates him from everyone else in the industry because MJF, he is a character that does not hold back. He's a character that pushes the limits. He's a character that pushes buttons. He's a character that thrives off of controversy. He's a character that will say anything and everything possible in order to get a reaction. He has had so many people up in tears. He has had so many people get their panties up in a bunch. When he was a major heel before he went on this babyface run, he was a major heel, and he was having people get so wound up over things that he said, and he was just playing a character. You honestly think that WWE would bend over backwards for MJF to get him to get away with a lot of the things that he's gotten away with on AEW television? Of course not. Of course not. Whether people want to admit it or not, regardless of how good the NXT Black and Gold era was, regardless of the drastic improvement with Raw and SmackDown over the course of the last couple of months, regardless of how good their premium live events are, the WWE at its core is a lame, watered down PG company. The WWE caters too much to the casual audience. The WWE caters too much to the children. They cater too much to the women. They cater too much to all of these casual audiences that are going to make their money. Here's a spoiler for you. The casual audience is the bane of professional wrestling's existence. You don't need to cater to the casual audience in order to make money. You don't need to cater to the casual audience to be a financial success. The major money comes from the 18 to 49 demographic, and the 18 to 49 demographic houses all of the real wrestling fans. I'm the type of guy that WWE should be catering to, not the casual audience. You do not need casuals in order to be a success. You do not need casuals in order to become mainstream. All you need to become mainstream is the connections and the proper promotion. Do not give me any of this BS that the casual audience is the reason why WWE is so successful. You do not need casuals in order to be a success. And the WWE, they have way too many sponsorships. They're afraid to take risks. The WWE, at the end of the day, is afraid to take risks. They're way too formulaic. Look at what happened on Monday Night Raw and NXT. NXT and Monday Night Raw, they have all of these crazy matches. We get a lot of great spots on Monday Night Raw, and you hear the crowd, they chant, holy shit, holy shit. And the WWE legitimately bleeps them out. It bleeps them out. Look at what happened on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown when The Rock came back. The Rock came back, and he got the crowd to chant, you are an asshole, at Austin Theory. And what happened? The WWE was trying to bleep it out. Unsuccessfully, but at the end of the day, the WWE does not take risks. They're afraid to be different. They're afraid to break out of their bubble. They're afraid to be edgy. The WWE is not edgy. They do not have an edge. They don't have a pair of balls. No matter how good the TV has been when it comes to premium live events, no matter how good Raw and SmackDown have gotten over the course of the last 3 months, the WWE, they got no balls. MJF has an edge to him. MJF has a bite to him. MJF is a Rottweiler. He is a rabid Rottweiler, ready to pounce. The WWE is nothing more than a whimpering chihuahua. They are all bark and no bite. You think that they are going to let MJF do what he's doing in AEW? Of course not. The WWE is the closest thing that we got to Disney in pro wrestling form. It's a joke. It's a joke. The WWE would never, and I'm telling you, they would never allow MJF to do what he's doing right now. MJF as a PG guy, I mean, oh my God, you want to talk about Miz 2.0? That right there would make MJF into Miz 2.0 if I've ever seen one. They would take MJF, who right now is easily #1 in the industry, and they will make him a shell of his former self in WWE. The only reason why MJF would even contemplate going to WWE is to say that he had a well-rounded career. He may win an Intercontinental title. He may win a United States title. He may win a world title. He may have a big spotlight at WrestleMania. But in the end, the character known as Maxwell Jacob Friedman would never, and I mean would never, succeed in the WWE. They would make him just like everyone else. When have you seen a world title reign like MJF's, in which he has held the title for a year plus, and he is still as hot as he was when he first won the championship? I haven't seen that in many, many, many years. Look at Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns in his title reign. That title reign fell off the rails. His title reign fell off the rails, and he, at one point, was the #1 act in the entire industry. MJF, the reason why MJF is still as hot as he was on day one of his title reign is because of who he is. It's because of the character that he portrays. It's because of the fact that he's allowed to do what he needs to do in order to get over. MJF would not have that freedom in WWE. And MJF is not stupid. MJF knows that. If WWE is too soft to bring out blood for a blood and guts, and the only reason that they ever bring out blood is because Brock Lesnar intentionally busts himself open on a goddamn turnbuckle. How many times have we seen blood this year? Brock Lesnar busts himself open on a turnbuckle. That was the first time that we've seen blood on WWE TV in like 2 years. 2 years, 3 years. The last time we actually saw legitimate blood was when Roman Reigns was busted open thanks to Brock Lesnar back at WrestleMania 34. And even then, that was in a desperate attempt to try and get Roman Reigns over. The WWE has no edge. They have no balls. They're afraid to take risks. They're way too formulaic. MJF is not stupid. He knows that. MJF knows that he is going to take several steps down when he joins the WWE. AEW right now is the only mainstream national television audience in which MJF can be himself and get away with it. That is the only audience that MJF is going to be able to get away with the things that he is getting away with live in front of. He is going to be able to be a babyface, he's going to be able to be a heel, and he's going to be able to do and say whatever he wants because at the end of the day, he is that damn good. Now, WWE, whatever they pay MJF, whatever they pay him, and I'm assuming they're going to pay him 7 figures because he's worth 7 figures. 7 figures, no less for MJF because MJF is that good and MJF is easily going to help WWE if they allow him to be himself, but they won't. They won't. They cater to too many casuals. Family-friendly WWE. I'm going to throw this out for you right now. I don't care how many people are going to get pissy at this. This is the gospel truth. This is why I'm here. It's because I say the things that need to be said, but no one else has the balls to say them. Family-friendly material sucks. Family-friendly material sucks. I'm not saying you got to have blood every week. I'm not saying you got to swear every other sentence, but when it calls for it, you got to develop an edge. You got to show some teeth. WWE is as calm and cool as collective as a nurse shark. The WWE is a nurse shark. MJF is a great white. They don't mix. But him re-signing with AEW, probably the best move for his career. Best move for his career easily. MJF is going to be a legend by 2027 just based off of this world title reign alone. Whether you like it or you're not, that's the gospel truth. And if you can't handle it, well, too bad. This is why I exist, and I do not care if I am popping your fantasy bubble. I am right, you're wrong, you know it, get over it. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the news, rumors, and reports. We're going to go over Raw, we're going to go over SmackDown, and we are going to go over Dynamite. No Rampage, because Rampage and Collision, we got a double header tonight. On Rampage, we got Katsuyori Shibata defending the Ring of Honor Pure Championship against Wheeler Yuta. I was actually shocked that they're doing this match now. I'm very, very shocked that they're doing this match now, and they are not waiting until Final Battle. We also got Chris Statlander taking on Diamante, and then on the Collision side of things, we got FTR taking on The Righteous. Keith Lee is taking on Lee Moriarty, and we got Brody King and Eddie Kingston in the Blue League for the Continental Classic. And then we got Daniel Garcia and Claudio Castagnoli in the Blue League for the Continental Classic. So we are going to get one hell of a tournament continuing tonight on Collision. And Rampage is looking pretty decent too. I'll be watching Rampage at 7, and then I'll be watching Survivor Series at 8, and I'll catch up on Collision at a later time. Raw did exactly what it needed to do to build towards Survivor Series. We had some decent material on WWE TV, including we actually had some decent material in the professional wrestling department. So Drew McIntyre came out to explain his actions, and he said that he looked Jay in the eye and dropped him on his ass, just like Jay dropped him on his ass, but he actually looked Jay in the eye before he did it, and he didn't stab him from behind. He goes, I don't remember an apology to me or anyone for anything that you did and every single person that you screwed over, Jay. Why should we get over it? Jay cost me a Clash at the Castle, 16 years in front of my family. Your family took that from my family. Now, to answer the million-dollar question, has Drew McIntyre joined the Judgment Day? You clearly don't know me very well. No, I have not joined the Judgment Day. I'll be on their team at War Games only because Rhea Ripley gave me what I want. Jey Uso in a cage. Your ass belongs to me. Jey Uso then came out and he said Drew McIntyre needed to let it go. No more talking. How about you catch this beat down? Yeet. Out came Judgment Day, and then out came Rollins, Sammy, and Cody. And Pierce came out and stopped the brawl before it could happen. He said that there will be no punches thrown. He also said Cody's team needs a fifth member before the end of the night. And then he told them one member of each team must be chosen to face off in the advantage match. Judgment Day backed off, and that was pretty much that. It was straightforward. It did what it needed to do. And if anything, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that this was probably the best open to Monday Night Raw all month. Best open to Monday Night Raw all month because of Drew McIntyre and his heel turn. That right there made it the best open to Monday Night Raw all month because they gave us something different. They gave us something intriguing. They gave us something new and fresh. And now that Drew McIntyre is finally a heel, this right here is going to present a whole new world of possibilities. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez. I don't know what happened here. I'm not sure what was different. I'm not sure what these two women did, but for some weird reason, these two women actually put on a pretty tolerable match. I'm not really sure what was different. It's almost like they were meant to fight. It's almost like they were meant to wrestle. Quite shocking, I know, but Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez actually put on a decent match. This was actually a pretty decent match, and it was also a pretty decent night for women's wrestling as a whole. So I was actually very pleased with what we got. So Nia Jax, she took a page out of Samoa Joe's playbook, and she delivered a Uranagi out of the corner, which looked very good. Raquel then shoved Jax out of the ring and delivered a flying crossbody off the apron. Jax came back by delivering a Samoan drop to Raquel into the post. And Raquel's back became the story of the match. Coming back from commercial, Raquel was caught with a headbutt. Raquel then came out of the corner with a Hurricane Rana to Nia Jax. Yes, a Hurricane Rana. We had a big boot and a spinning Vader bomb. We then had Raquel looking to lift Nia Jax up, but her back gave out. Jax then with a senton. She then went up to the top, did Jax. Raquel tried to powerbomb her, but the back gave out again. And then Nia Jax delivered the banzai drop. Nia Jax beats Raquel Rodriguez with the banzai drop in a match in which I thought was going to be a disaster, but it ended up turning out to be pretty okay. It was simple. It was effective. They did what they needed to do, and then they got out of there. So I didn't have an issue with it. Becky Lynch and Xia Li. Another match I thought was going to be a complete disaster. Not many people really cared about Xia Li, but by the end of this match, this was probably the best match of Xia Li's career. Probably the best match of Xia Li's career, and she brought her A game, and Becky Lynch brought out a really, really, really good match in her. So Becky came in with a flying forearm off of the apron. She came off with a flying forearm off of the apron. Coming back from commercial, we had Becky trying to mount a comeback. Becky tried to mount the comeback. We had a big Beck-sploder suplex and a twisting kick to the back by Xia Li. Becky Lynch then locked in an armbar. Xia Li was able to get out of it. We had an airplane spin, an inverted airplane spin, actually. It looked like an inverted airplane spin into a gourd buster drop, and Becky Lynch kicked out. So both women were up top. Both women traded strikes. Becky Lynch delivered a superplex to Xia Li. Xia Li kicked out. Xia then went for the spin kick. Becky fell out of the ring. Xia then was sent into the post. Both women were down. Both women then beat the count. Back in the ring, Becky with the manhandle slam. And Becky Lynch gets the win over Xia Li. I actually don't understand why. I really don't understand why they had Xia Li lose this match. I mean, we all knew that Lyra Valkyria was going to beat Xia Li. I understand that. We already knew that Lyra Valkyria was going to beat Xia Li at NXT. We already know that Lyra Valkyria was not losing the NXT Women's Championship, but I mean, at least try. At least try to make Xia Li a little bit more credible. This is probably the ceiling for Xia Li, for all we know. This is probably Xia Li's ceiling, but you can at least make her feel a little bit more credible and a little bit more believable. Nevertheless, it was a good match, but Becky Lynch getting the win, I'm sorry. No. Becky Lynch should not be getting a win over talent that desperately needs to be made into superstars. We do not need Becky Lynch in a position in which she is beating other talent that have not gotten a chance to shine in the spotlight. Okay? We do not need that. So, moving on here, we had Damage Control. Damage Control came in through the crowd. SmackDown superstars coming on in through the crowd. Yeah, real logical right there towards a brand split. We then had Bianca, Shotzi, and Charlotte coming out as well. Again, more SmackDown superstars. They came out and security tried to break things up. And that was pretty much that. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, very, very lame sell. Very lame sell going into War Games. Very, very lame sell. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. Same stereotypical brawl that we've gotten between how many people going into War Games. It's the same thing. Every single individual, they brawl over here, they brawl over there, brawl. There's no difference in the build to War Games. No difference at all. Johnny Gargano and Ludwig Kaiser. Johnny Gargano and Ludwig Kaiser. Now, I understand that we have seen a mishmash of Imperium and DIY over the course of the last 3-4 weeks. It's exhausting, it's lame, it's overdone. But I cannot sit here and tell you that this was a bad match. This was a very good match. Ludwig Kaiser is very underrated. And Johnny Gargano, I mean, we all know how good Johnny Gargano is. He put on probably the second best match in professional wrestling history with Adam Cole back at NXT TakeOver New York. That match gave Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker a run for its money. So, we had a pretty evenly matched contest early on. Ludwig Kaiser then got taken out with a running uppercut. We then had Gargano coming back with a slingshot spear after commercial, rolling kick, and a tope suicida. Back and forth roll-ups. We had a diving flatliner by Gargano from the middle rope for a 2. We then had a discus lariat by Kaiser for a 2. Enziguri by Gargano. Reverse gourd buster by Kaiser for a 2. Very nicely done. Gargano then with the rolling elbow. And then a tilt-a-whirl face buster out of nowhere. And then Kaiser with a rolling Death Valley driver. He was going for the win, but Giovanni Vinci came out, and Giovanni Vinci was actually told by Kaiser to stay in the back. Kaiser was distracted Gargano took advantage and hit one final beat. And Gargano gets the win over Ludwig Kaiser. I'm happy that Gargano got the win. And I'm happy that DIY is in a position where they're winning matches. But why are we breaking up Imperium? Why are we even teasing the idea of breaking up Imperium? Why are we causing tension between Vinci and Kaiser? Why? Why is there tension being caused? Why is there tensions brewing between Vinci and Kaiser when in reality, Vinci and Kaiser should realistically be set and ready to feud with the Judgment Day, potentially for the tag team titles, and or potentially we see Imperium and the Judgment Day feud after WrestleMania is over. They have a perfect shoe-in feud for WrestleMania's postseason with the Judgment Day and Imperium. Gunther and Rollins, World Heavyweight title. Priest cashes in. Priest pins Rollins, wins the World Heavyweight title. And then going into Bash in Berlin, we get Priest versus Gunther at the pay-per-view with Imperium and Judgment Day feuding throughout the entire summer, leading to Priest versus Gunther, and Gunther wins the title in Berlin. That's how things should play out. That's how you make good use out of everybody. The fact that they're not even teasing that right there is rather disappointing. And the fact that they're focusing on potentially breaking Imperium up, that's a no-no. That is a no-no. I'm sorry. We had women's tag team action. This was Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile versus Natalya and Tegan Nox, two teams that aren't even tag teams. Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. And then Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. And I'm not going to lie, this match, along with the other two women's matches that we saw, this was perhaps the best that the women's division has looked in many, many, many moons. I'm not sure what happened, but the 8 women in this match, they worked hard. They worked hard. They put on a decent match, and I cannot really go out of my way and bash it. I really can't. I'm usually a very harsh critic, and rightfully so, because the WWE product, it usually is terrible. But in the end, we got ourselves 3 decent women's matches on the show. Can't really complain. So Carter and Chance, they continue to shine. I mean, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, easily, they are 2 of the best women on that roster. It is actually quite disappointing how they've just been shafted since the draft. So we had a big crossbody by Carter onto the pile. Maxine Dupree then came flying off the top with a crossbody. Very nicely done. Coming back from commercial, we had a double powerbomb by Ivy and Maxine on Tegan Nox and Natalya. We had an assisted splash by Carter and Chance for a 2. We had a headbutt by Nox to Nile. We had a super kick to Carter to Nox. And then we had a crossbody by Candice. Everyone was just taking out everybody. Carter was then taken out. We then had Natalya locking in a sharpshooter on Katana Chance. Ivy Nile saved it. Maxine with a body slam. And then a caterpillar. We had a bridging suplex for a 2. Tagged Ivy Nile. We had a double suplex on Nox. Double kip up. Crossbody by Maxine. But Tegan Nox rolled through. And Tegan Nox got the win for herself and Natalya. And they will be fighting none other than Chelsea Green and Piper Niven for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Not like the Women's Tag Team titles are any important, but we got a decent women's match out of it, and we actually got some fresh new faces. We got some fresh new faces shining on WWE television. Excuse me. After that, we then go into a promo. We go into a promo between The Miz and Gunther. The Miz and Gunther, they had their face-to-face confrontation before their matchup at Survivor Series. The Miz, he talked about respect for the locker room and the WWE Universe. And that brings me to Gunther's lack of respect. Now, Gunther came out. Gunther said, Mike, let me clarify something. I have zero respect for you. This sacred ring is for fighting. You're just an entertainer. And Miz said, I don't get why that's a bad thing. See, I can get it done inside and outside of the ring. All of the superstars I like Randy Savage and Rick Rude, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels, they all held that title. And I battled for 20 years so that I could hold that same title. The reason that they are remembered is because they're not you. They're not a one-note robot. I have rebuilt myself time and time again. That's what makes me an entertainer. That's what makes me immortal. We don't know much about you because you have always been at the top of the mountain. You're not at the bottom. You've never been knocked down to the bottom, and we won't know who you truly are until you do hit the bottom. Will you climb that mountain, or will you just be another cog in the machine? You don't respect me? I'll beat it into you. I actually like the way that The Miz was coming off. I really, really enjoyed how The Miz was coming off. The Miz, when he's serious, when The Miz is serious and The Miz is stern and The Miz is focused, that's when The Miz is at his best. That's when The Miz comes off the best. When he's stern, when he's focused, when he's not taking any crap from anyone. So Gunther said, you know, they all think I'm facing The Miz, but I see right through you. I'm facing someone who is like everyone here. Little Mike Mizanin, who was bullied in high school for liking all those people that you named. And then you met your heroes and they bullied you because you do not belong in this sport. You don't belong in my ring. You belong in the crowd with the weirdos just like you. You are weak and you are insecure, said Gunther. You know what I think? I think you haven't been bullied enough. I love the way that Gunther comes off. Gunther just comes off like a sniveling piece of garbage. He comes off like a cocky, sarcastic a-hole. It's a great thing. I love the way that Gunther comes off. Gunther comes off like such a great heel. See, when people say that Roman Reigns is number one in the WWE, I say no. Look at Gunther. Gunther's number one in the WWE. Do not even mention Roman Reigns and Gunther in the same breath. Roman Reigns is leagues beneath Gunther. Gunther is number one. So Gunther then pushed The Miz. He egged him on. Miz then punched Gunther. Gunther went for a big boot. Miz with a low blow to Gunther and a skull-crushing finale. And The Miz held up the title as the crowd was cheering him on. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to this. Matter of fact, minus Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar, I'm very much looking forward to The Miz and Gunther. I think that they're going to put on a very, very, very good match for the Intercontinental title. I think, if anything, if they want to, I honestly believe that Gunther could very well have one of his best matches as Intercontinental Champion against The Miz. I really do believe that. Chad Gable and Shinsuke Nakamura. They gave these two a decent amount of time, and we got a very good match out of these two. Got some really good back and forth, rolling neck breakers and cliffhanger DDTs. Nice rebound kicks by Nakamura. He missed with the Kinshasa. Gable with a moonsault. He got the feet up, did Nakamura. We had a reverse exploder. Gable then with an ankle lock. Nakamura was in trouble. Nakamura rolled up Gable, and he got the win. So Nakamura continues to get the win. He's on a 4-match winning streak, and it's a good thing to see. It's a good thing to see Shinsuke Nakamura getting some wins underneath him. I'm not sure where this is leading to. A lot of people have been saying it's been leading to CM Punk, but Nakamura is not going to be on the show tonight. I don't believe it. I would be shocked if he is. We'll see what happens, but I can't see Nakamura on the show tonight. I can't see it. Next week, I was actually a little shocked and a little disappointed that they didn't put this match on Survivor Series. Ivar and Bronson Reed. I would have loved to seen this match get put on Survivor Series just as an undercard match, because these two, oh my God, these two could tear the house down if they wanted to. Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre, War Games Advantage match. Not a bad match. Not a bad match, but I mean, we've seen it. Really wasn't anything overly exciting. Drew McIntyre gets the win, but not with the Claymore. Drew McIntyre got the win with a Future Shock DDT. So after that, we had Drew McIntyre continuing the assault. He then ripped apart the table. Jay then tried to fire back. We then had Cody, Sammy, and Rollins come out. Cody then said, I'm glad that you guys got the advantage because we found a fifth member, someone who I have a legacy with. We happen to have the Apex Predator, and these people, they know too. You're not just hearing voices in your head, because these people, they're right. No Randy Orton reveal. No Randy Orton reveal, but they essentially told everyone that Randy Orton will be the fifth member. They confirmed it. Randy Orton is joining Team Cody on the War Games match today. They did exactly what they needed to do. It was simple. It was effective. We got some really good promos. We got some really good wrestling. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to Survivor Series. And once again, I will say that if they want to, I truthfully do believe that this could be the best Survivor Series in the last decade if they play their cards right. You take a look at the card. Today's card looks like one hell of a show. Certainly looks like one hell of a show. I'm looking forward to it. So from there, we then went into SmackDown. But before we go into SmackDown, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite. They followed up Full Gear, which was a great show. They followed up with a very, very strong show where we saw the beginning stages of the AEW Continental Classic. It is a round-robin tournament, 20-minute time limit, and a win gets you 3 points. A draw gets you 1 point. The winners of their respective blocks will face each other at World's End to crown the first ever AEW Continental Classic winner. And we will have 3 championships unified into one. We're going to have the New Japan Strong Openweight. We're going to have the Ring of Honor World Championship and the Continental Championship unified into one. Should be fun. Dynamite kicked off with Swerve Strickland and Jay Lethal. This was the Gold League. Now, the Gold League for the Continental Classic has Swerve Strickland, Jay Lethal, Mark Briscoe, Jay White, Roosh, and John Moxley, while the Blue League has Andrade, Bryan Danielson, Daniel Garcia, Claudio Castagnoli, Eddie Kingston, and Brody King. Should be fun. Should be fun to say the least. I'm looking forward to those 2 matches tonight. Swerve Strickland and Jay Lethal, they kicked off the show. It was the Gold League Continental Classic first round matchup. Both men were fighting on the apron. Jay Lethal came in with a big tope suicida. And an important, a very, very important thing to mention, no one was allowed at ringside. Nobody was allowed at ringside for these matches. So Jay Lethal did not have his posse with him. So Swerve Strickland was fighting an uphill battle because of his injured arm. We had a snap German suplex by Swerve, shoulder breaker by Jay Lethal. We had a superplex by Swerve coming back from commercial. We had a flatliner and a brain buster for a 2 by Swerve. Jay Lethal then with a reverse suplex. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Really, really, really good stuff right there. Reverse suplex. We then had a diving elbow drop by Jay Lethal. That got a 2 count. Lethal with a crossface. And then we had a punt kick. Lethal seemed to be in control, but Swerve, he fought back. He got the house call, and then he delivered the Swerve stomp. and Swerve Strickland gains 3 points. I'm going to throw it out there. Swerve Strickland should be the one to do it. No matter what happens, Swerve Strickland should be the one to win the AEW Continental Classic. Swerve Strickland, he has been killing it as of lately, and he deserves a major, major push. And if it's not Adam Cole, it should absolutely be Swerve Strickland that wins the Continental Classic. And it should be Swerve Strickland that beats MJF. If it's not Adam Cole, Swerve Strickland's the one to beat MJF. Whether it be at Double or Nothing, whether it be at Revolution, whatever. Swerve Strickland's your guy. Speaking of MJF, Better Than You, Baby. They had a segment. MJF said, it appears the devil has arrived in Chicago. And after I beat Jay White, and I was only rocking one leg, I learned that Jay is one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, but you're looking at the AEW World Champion, the longest reigning AEW World Champion, the best AEW World Champion of all time. He goes, I think I've been way too humble. I think I've earned the right to toot my own horn a bit. You're looking at the greatest AEW World Champion of all time, but none of it is possible without my bro Chacho, Adam Cole. So Adam Cole said, who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? You know, it is great that we are still champions, but my ankle, it's in real bad shape, but I am working my ass off to get back to 100%. Yeah, your ankle's in bad shape. Sure, Cole. So he goes, Max, I'm worried about you. It feels like the entire world is gunning for you. MJF then stopped him, and then he said, don't worry, because he's going to find the devil, and he is going to send him to hell. And then all of a sudden, the lights went out. And if you go back and rewatch Dynamite, you look at Adam Cole, his arm moved a little bit. It almost looked like he clicked something in his pocket. Adam Cole looked like he clicked a remote in his pocket. The lights went out, and then the devil came up on the screen. And the devil was laughing. And then the lights came back on. It looked like Adam Cole was trying to hide something in his pocket. Samoa Joe then came out. And Samoa Joe said, this is a time for celebration because you went out there and you made it out as AEW World Champion, but you also defended the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles with one Samoa Joe for the price of giving me my rematch, said Joe. MJF then told Joe to blow him. MJF was about to get strangled by Joe, but Adam Cole said, whoa, wait, hold on, Joe, hold on. Let me talk to him. So Joe let go of MJF. Cole then told him that was what the old MJF would do. I've been choked out by Joe more times than I can count, but these people, they all love you because when MJF says something will happen, then it happens. Please be a man of your word. Quite interesting that Cole is telling MJF to accept Samoa Joe's rematch. Quite interesting, to say the least. So MJF then challenged Joe for the world title in Chicago, and he made a little snide comment at CM Punk saying that he's not the first Ring of Honor legend I've beaten in Chicago twice. So that right there is a little dig at CM Punk. Joe then said, absolutely not. Joe then said, in the end, you know what would happen? When I beat you, you would go on Twitter and you would complain that you're not 100%. I want a fully healed MJF. So there will be no excuses when I take that title from you. So I'd say at World's End, you'll be nice and chipper to defend that title. MJF then said, you want MJF in the main event for the world title in the most magical place on earth, Plainview, Long Island, New York? You got yourself a deal. They shook hands, and Joe said, You're considered my property now, and no one touches my property unless I say so. Everywhere you go, I'll have your back, and I'll deliver the very best MJF at Nassau Coliseum, and then I'll beat you mercilessly in front of everyone that you love, said Samoa Joe. Brilliant. Brilliant. Simple, effective, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent stuff. Story. And people that they come out of the woodworks, these idiots, they come out of the woodworks and they say, AEW has no story. What do you call this then? You're telling me the devil is not story? You're telling me that Samoa Joe and MJF and what they're doing, you're telling me that that is not story? You're telling me that what we're going to see at AEW World's End, you're telling me that that is not story? I think y'all really need to get your priorities straight because something is mentally wrong with you. Excellent stuff. Excellent, excellent, excellent promo. And we got our main event for World's End. Perfect. Perfect. We had Hook, the FTW champion, Katsuyori Shibata, the Ring of Honor Pure champion, and Orange Cassidy, the international champion. They took on Jake Hager and 2.0, a little interim 6-person tag team match. Cassidy then took the mic and he said that he has a Thanksgiving surprise, and he brought out Danhausen. Danhausen is officially back, and the crowd throughout this match, the biggest pop of the night came at the expense of Danhausen, because Danhausen brought out Jake Hager's old hat, the hat that he always said, I like this hat. He brought out Jake Hager's old hat. He brought out his old hat, and he put the hat on. Jake Hager was looking like he was about to kill Danhausen. Danhausen cursed Jake Hager. Jake Hager was taken out by Orange Cassidy. In the ring, we had Hook and Katsuyori Shibata. They locked in double sleepers, and Hook got Angelo Parker to tap out. And that was pretty much that. Really a nothing match. Really just a fun little trios match to keep the crowd hyped up, and that was pretty much that. I'm actually shocked. Again, I will say, I'm kind of shocked and a little bit disappointed that they did not book Yuta and Shibata at Final Battle. I'm not sure who fights Shibata at Final Battle. Maybe Josh Woods. Maybe Josh Woods. We'll see. We had a segment in the back with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and the Kingdom, where Roderick Strong was asking Adam Cole, where were you? Where were you when, I can't remember what he was saying. He was asking, where was Adam Cole when Action Andretti dropped him on his neck on Rampage? So Adam Cole, he got pissed. Cole got pissed, and he said that Roderick Strong is not his best friend anymore. So back off and leave me the hell alone. And then you saw Roderick Strong mouth to the Kingdom, he didn't mean that. I still believe that this is all a ploy. This is all just a ploy, and we will see Roderick Strong and the Kingdom revealed along with the devil, Adam Cole. They are all conspiring against MJF. I'm telling you right now, they're all conspiring against MJF. So after that, we had Christian Cage. This was amazing right here. Christian Cage came out with the patriarchy. He told everyone to shut up. He said that Full Gear did not go the way that they planned, but I did not lose that match. Nick Wayne did not lose that match. Luchasaurus lost that match. Shout out to Danielle Wolf and Raging Girl Gamer. Thank you very much for stopping by. Be sure to hit that like button. Share the stream out on all platforms, social media, because we are talking about AEW Dynamite and Christian Cage and his berating of Luchasaurus. He said Luchasaurus lost that match at Full Gear, and that is unacceptable. Both of you have had better lives because of me, because both of you are my children, so let me recreate you in my image. He goes, Luchasaurus, take a knee. Take a knee, said Christian. He looked directly at Luchasaurus, and he was egging him on, take a knee. So, Christian Cage was getting a little pissed off. So Luchasaurus took a knee. He goes, I came up with a name of strength, a name that never means defeat. You are my finisher, said Luchasaurus. From this day forth, you will be known as Kill Switch. So he renamed Luchasaurus as Kill Switch. Nick Wayne, he then took a knee. Christian said, get on your feet. You do not take a knee for anyone. You are special. You are my golden boy. And you could see Nick Wayne was clearly laughing. So you could see that Nick Wayne was clearly having a good time. Nick Wayne was having a very fun time with Christian Cage. And when Nick Wayne's having a good time, we're all having a good time. So that right there, it was a nice little touch right there. Nick Wayne clearly could not hold in his laughter. I mean, Christian Cage is fantastic. Every single time I see Christian Cage on TV, I'm laughing my ass off at everything that Christian Cage does. So he said, you are hereby known as the prodigy Nick Wayne. All of a sudden, Nick Wayne's mother came out, and this is where things started to get good. So Nick Wayne's mother came out, and Christian goes, you are a terrible mother. You couldn't even provide for Nick. You were a waitress. Do you think he wanted his mom to be a waitress? You couldn't give him anything. And it's a good thing that your husband is dead, because Nick would have disowned him anyway, because he is nothing compared to me. I'm the father that he wishes that he had. So you can go and get the hell out of my ring. I think your shift at Denny's is about to start. I mean, this is great. This is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Christian Cage just being a full-blown heel, just being a full-blown piece of garbage. Gotta love it. So Luchasaurus, this was interesting. Luchasaurus then stepped in front of Christian Cage. So Luchasaurus, or Kill Switch, stepped in front of Christian Cage. Christian told him to get back on his knees. Christian then slapped Luchasaurus. He slapped him. I wasn't expecting it to escalate that quickly, but Luchasaurus was slapped by Christian Cage. Christian then shoved Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus ended up elbowing Nick Wayne's mother in the face. So Nick Wayne's mother was out. And then Nick Wayne brought in a pair of chairs, and they were going to do a concerto to his mother. Christian then gave the chair to Luchasaurus, or Kill Switch. Gave it to Kill Switch. And he was going to tell him to do it. Luchasaurus then put the chair up. All of a sudden, Adam Copeland came out. He gave a spear to Nick Wayne. Big boot to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus then saved Christian Cage. He then speared Wayne again, and then gave him the Coplocution, or the Impaler DDT. Christian then took the chairs. This was my favorite part of the segment right here. Copeland takes the chairs, and he's getting ready to give Nick Wayne a one-man concerto. All of a sudden, you see the camera. The camera pans to Christian Cage, and Christian Cage goes, "What are you doing? That's my child." I mean, come on. If you are not a fan of Christian Cage, I'm thoroughly convinced you do not like pro wrestling. Christian Cage just selling this segment, saying, "That's my child. That's my child." I'm sitting there laughing uncontrollably. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a serious segment, but Christian Cage is just breaking me left and right. I understand why Nick Wayne was laughing. Christian Cage going, "That's my child. Don't you do it. That's my child." And then Adam Copeland delivers the concerto. He delivers the concerto, to Nick Wayne while Nick Wayne's mother was watching, obviously, because all he was seeing was red. All he was seeing was red. Concerto right in front of Nick Wayne's mother. I mean, this was easily the best thing on the show. Easily the best thing on the show. How good is Christian Cage? How good is Christian Cage? Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic segment. Christian Cage, everything that he touches right now turns to gold. Christian Cage has replaced MJF as the top heel. With MJF being the top babyface, Christian Cage has replaced MJF. Christian Cage is now the #1 heel in all of pro wrestling. Christian Cage is absolutely phenomenal at what he does. How good is this match going to be at World's End? I'm telling you, World's End, man, if they're looking to top Full Gear, if they're looking to top Wrestle Dream, if they're looking to top All In, we're going to have a hot Long Island crowd. Can you imagine the top 2 matches that they're selling? MJF and Samoa Joe for the World Championship, and then Christian Cage and Adam Copeland for the TNT Championship. That is a really, really strong 2-match lineup right there. I'm very much looking forward to it. And you know what? You know what's even greater? What's greater is the fact that everything that Christian Cage is doing right now, Adam Copeland predicted it. Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, sooner rather than later, they're going to leave Christian Cage. They are going to turn on Christian Cage, and inevitably, we will see Christian Cage get knocked down. He's going to be at his lowest. Who's going to be there to help him? Adam Copeland. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Roosh and Jay White, Gold League Continental Classic match. This was very, very good. Roosh is fantastic. Jay White is fantastic. These two were throwing some bombs, I'm telling you. They were throwing some pretty heavy hands. Roosh is one guy. If there's one guy that I don't want to be chopped by, obviously Gunther's #1, Penta's #2, and Roosh is probably #3. Those 3 guys, you could not pay me enough money to take an overhand chop from. So Roosh was in control early. We had a kick to the face, almost mocking Jay White, a little tranquilo action. We then had Roosh with a running lariat. Roosh then with the 3 amigos. White came back with a brainbuster for a 2. We had a rising knee by Roosh, Uranage by White for a 2. We had a chop by Roosh, back and forth strikes. We had a dragon screw by Jay White while Roosh was in the ropes. Jay White ran at Roosh. Roosh delivered a belly-to-belly suplex into the turnbuckle. A little do-si-do action. White then nearly ran into Paul Turner, and while Paul Turner was trying to collect himself, White with a mule kick right between the legs, low blow, and then a Blade Runner, and Jay White rebounds off of his loss at Full Gear, and Jay White gets the win and earns 3 points in the Continental Classic. We're going to get ourselves some great matches, that's for sure. And I'm very much looking forward to what happens going forward. Really, really looking forward to what happens going forward. And you could build a lot of good feuds from the Continental Classic. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Jay White is going to be doing following this tournament, because he's not going to win. Jay White's not going to win the Continental Classic. Swerve Strickland should be your winner. Swerve Strickland is your winner, no question. RJ City and Renee Paquette, they presented Toni Storm with the AEW Women's Championship. And Toni Storm's butler, Luther, assisted her to the stage. I actually like what they're doing with Luther. I actually like the fact that Luther is Toni Storm's butler. It's cheesy, but it comes off well. She's making it work. So Mariah May ended up presenting Storm with the belt. She got her reading glasses on, and she thanked Tony Khan and Jack Warner and the little Toni Storms out there. But you will never take my spot. Stay in school. Thank you. Cue the standing ovation. And that was pretty much that. It was pretty simple. It was pretty straightforward. I wasn't really expecting anything over the top. We had Sky Blue, Anna Jay, and Ruby Soho This match was pretty skippable. I don't want to say it was terrible. I will give credit to Anna Jay. Anna Jay's getting a little bit better. She's getting a little bit more fluid in the ring. Sky Blue's very good. Ruby Soho's very good. Anna Jay, she's coming along, but the match was kind of pretty much built around the love angle with Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker. And I don't really know why they're going forth with that. I really don't. Not to say that it's been overexposed, not to say that it's awful to watch, not to say that it's terrible television. I mean, there's a lot of things on AEW television that's a lot worse than what Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker are doing, but it almost seems like they're desperately trying to copy the Mandy Rose and Otis storyline from back in the day. I don't know why, but it just looks so out of place. It's just there. That's pretty much it. It's just there. I didn't watch AEW for love storylines. I watch AEW for pro wrestling. So I really do believe that this love storyline, we need to nix it and we just need to stick to pro wrestling. Now, I appreciate that they're giving something to do for Ruby Soho and Angelo Parker. I appreciate that they're actually developing an undercard storyline, but I mean, a love angle, come on. Not to say that it's been overexposed, not to say that it's nauseating television. It hasn't really been shoved in your face that much. It's barely a blip on the show. So I can't really come out here and say, oh yeah, they've really overexposed it. They haven't. But again, it's just not hitting. Sky Blue gets the win with a very sloppy looking TKO. I think we should just stick to the code blue. Let's just stick to the code blue there. So Sky Blue gets the win. I'm happy that she gets the win. I'm happy that she is continuing to gain momentum because she is very good at what she does. And I really do hope that they have big plans for her to potentially become a women's champion down the line. Wardlow was interviewed. In came AR Fox, and Wardlow says that he doesn't need any advice from anyone. Wardlow just headbutted AR Fox like it was nothing, shook his head off, and walked away. So Wardlow, clear as day, he still has his sights set on MJF, and I'm guessing that we're going to get a match with Wardlow and AR Fox, which should be fun. That should be a fun match. Not sure when exactly Wardlow's going to fight MJF. I'm assuming that Wardlow and MJF is going to be a big match headed into the new year. And I'm assuming that if anything, we could very well have Wardlow and MJF reunite. I think that if they're going to play their cards right here, I would personally love to see Adam Cole and his posse. Obviously, they are out to get MJF. What if MJF recruits the Pinnacle? What if we get Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, The Kingdom, and Kyle O'Reilly taking on MJF, FTR, Shawn Spears, and Wardlow? What if that is what we're building towards? What if that is a blood and guts match that we're looking at? I would personally love to see that. That would be fantastic. If anything, that would probably be the best use of Wardlow. And then the main event. We had Jon Moxley and Mark Briscoe. Jon Moxley, Mark Briscoe, Gold League Continental Classic matchup. And this was easily the best match of the tournament thus far. Great stuff between these two. I would have loved to have seen Mark Briscoe get the win. That's just me. So Briscoe was in control. We had a running blockbuster off of the apron. Coming back from commercial, Moxley was in control. We had a pile driver for a 2. Briscoe then mounted a comeback with an exploder suplex. We had Mark Briscoe. He was busted open. Both men were up on top. Briscoe caught with a paradigm shift. Briscoe popped up into a drop kick. And then he went for the froggy bow. But Moxley kicked out. Moxley then with the King Kong Lariat. King Kong Lariat. Jon Moxley then went for the Death Rider, but Mark Briscoe, God rest Jay Briscoe's soul. Mark Briscoe kicked out. We then had Jon Moxley with a half and half suplex. Both men traded strikes, one after the other, strike for strike. Moxley inevitably hit the Death Rider again, and Moxley wins in what was the best match of the tournament thus far. Excellent stuff. And then afterwards, they shook hands, and that was the way that Dynamite went off of the air. Excellent show. The Continental Classic is making Dynamite feel very, very important, and I really do hope that this is a thing going forward, especially in the last 2 months of the year, specifically because of the fact that AEW, they haven't really had that one thing that's going to make it. They haven't had the one thing that's really going to make them stand out, if you know what I mean. And on top of that, considering that November and December, that is a period where not many people care about pro wrestling too much. I think that this scenario with the Continental Classic, this is going to make AEW TV that much more intriguing. So I'm very, very happy that they decided to make the Continental Classic. SmackDown wasn't a bad show. We had a hot Chicago crowd. We did get a lot of tag team wrestling on the show. We had Becky, Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi kicking off the show. So the crowd was hyped as per usual. Becky Lynch tried to hype up the crowd. She said that she'll never miss the opportunity to slap the heads off of Damage Control. Bianca said that this is the perfect place to get our lick back. Shotzi then took the microphone and she was laughing and she was speaking like a psychopath. She said that she wanted to unleash her madness on the team. I don't know what happened here, but WWE needs to make it a priority to never, ever give Shotzi a microphone. She is a terrible promo. I'm not sure what happened here, but oh my God, that was rough to listen to. So Charlotte said that tomorrow night at Survivor Series, it will be the end of Damage Control. Bayley then came out. She tried to start drama. Charlotte asked, where was Damage Control? Becky then challenged Bayley to a tag team match in the main event with her and Charlotte against any two members of Damage Control, and that was that. Very stereotypical, very lame promo. It did not do anything to get anyone excited for the Women's War Games. Matter of fact, even though we do have an all-star lineup for the Women's War Games, to me, it just comes off like the women were just given War Games out of pettiness, out of the fact that, oh, if the men are doing one, then the women got to do one. No. If you don't deserve War Games, then you don't deserve War Games. Last year, the War Games match was warranted. This year, I'm sorry, the War Games match, not warranted. Not warranted at all. Street Profits. They took on the Judgment Day. This was for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. We got a decent match right here with the Judgment Day and the Street Profits. We had Ford. He was in control. We had a Pescado on Balor. Damian Priest then came in out of nowhere and just pounced Montez Ford over the table. That was awesome. We then had the tag to Dawkins coming back from commercial. Dawkins with a silencer on Priest. We then had an electric chair blockbuster on Balor. Balor kicked out. Balor came in with a sling blade on Ford. We then had the revelation by the Profits on Damian Priest. Balor saved it. Priest was down. Balor then tripped up Montez Ford on the top buckle. And then the Judgment Day with the South of Heaven chokeslam coup de grace combination. And that was that. The Judgment Day retained the Undisputed Tag Team Championships as they should have going into Survivor Series. No reason why the Judgment Day should be losing the tag team championships. Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller effect, he welcomed Kevin Owens, and it was Austin Theory dressed up as Kevin Owens. And I actually laughed because Austin Theory actually does a pretty good version of Kevin Owens. The real Kevin Owens ended up coming out. He said that his suspension had been lifted. Owens then accused Theory of going through his bag and stealing his clothes. Out came LA Knight. LA Knight goes, "Let me talk to you." He goes, "Did you boys step in it tonight or what?" You see, it doesn't make a difference if it's KO or if it's A-Town Clown. At the end of the day, you losing to me, Grayson Waller, is just a fact of life. So we get a brawl. Knight and KO stood tall, and we get ourselves a tag team match. It is Austin Theory and Grayson Waller versus Kevin Owens and LA Knight. Yeah. This was easily the best thing on the show. Best thing on the show by far. These four men actually wrestled as if they were on the actual pay-per-view. Not even lying. These four wrestled as if they were on the pay-per-view. And that right there, I can appreciate because that makes the show feel more important. So Waller and Theory took over. Coming back from commercial, LA Knight was isolated before Owens tagged in. He lit up Grayson Waller. Super kick to Waller. Super kick to Theory. Swanton bomb off the apron. Swanton bomb in the ring for a 2. We had a rolling drop kick by Theory. Waller then with a diving elbow drop on Owens. Owens was isolated. Theory with a rolling blockbuster. And then Owens inevitably got the tag to LA Knight. LA Knight with an atomic drop and a DDT. Big reverse power slam. Stomps in the corner. Theory was then shoved into Waller. Kevin Owens with a stunner on Grayson Waller. BFT by LA Knight on Austin Theory. And LA Knight and Kevin Owens get the victory on SmackDown. Pretty simple, straightforward. It was a very good match, and I didn't have an issue with it. Probably the best match on SmackDown last night. Carlito, Caribbean Cool. He came out to address the crowd. He says that it's been a long time, and tomorrow I wrestle my first ever match on a WWE PLE in 13 years, and that's cool. But I can't stop thinking about Rey Mysterio and getting my hands on Santos Escobar, said Carlito. Carlito said he had a message for Escobar. He spoke in Spanish before saying that Escobar made a very big mistake. Santos then came out and he said that Carlito is the reason why his family was split up. You take a look at this tattoo on my hand. It's LWO for life. You're not LWO for life. So he then said, you were the one that caused all that pain. Ray's career is over, and it's because of you. So I love the way that he was speaking. He was just accusing Carlito, the outsider of the LWO. He was the reason why that his family was broken up, not him. So we get a brawl. We got a brawl on the ramp. These two were going at it. All of a sudden, you just see Escobar coming out of the crowd. Escobar came out of the crowd, and Escobar with an exposed knee to Carlito right in the shoulder. Carlito was holding his shoulder afterwards. And then it was confirmed. It was confirmed that it is going to be Dragon Lee taking the place of Carlito, because Dragon Lee actually attacked Santos Escobar backstage because the brawl continued after the commercial was over. So Nick Aldis put Dragon Lee in that match with Santos, and that match just became a hell of a lot better simply because of Santos and Dragon Lee. Because listen, Carlito's very good. He's very good. He's in the best shape of his life right now, but please, someone tell me. I want someone to legitimately tell me, what has Carlito done to prove to you that he deserves to be on a PLE? Nothing. Carlito is not a big big-time match player. He's just not. Not to take anything away from him, but he's just not a PLE wrestler. Dragon Lee, on the other hand, you take a look at what he's done. Dragon Lee and Axiom put on a pay-per-view match last week on SmackDown like it was nothing. So why not put Dragon Lee in that spot? Pretty Deadly. They took on the Brawling Brutes. And in the end, Ridge Holland walked away. And we ended up seeing Butch go at it alone, which ultimately resulted in Pretty Deadly getting the win. So it looks like the Brawling Brutes could be broken up. Now, I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure if this is ultimately going to result in Sheamus leaving WWE. But regardless, if we get the return of Pete Dunne, like the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, if that is what we are looking at, I am all for this. I got no problem with it whatsoever. If anything, I'm kind of disappointed that we haven't gotten the old Pete Dunne back sooner rather than later. Kind of disappoints me. But regardless, we will see the Brawling Brutes essentially broken up going forward. And if anything, Pete Dunne coming back and maybe Sheamus leaves WWE and goes to AEW, who knows? I can absolutely see Sheamus leaving WWE and going to AEW because Sheamus, I don't think he's felt like he's gotten the proper treatment in recent months. So you know what? Maybe Sheamus does end up jumping ship. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Asuka and Bayley. Pretty standard tag team match right here. Obviously, this was done in a manner to help create more tension going into Survivor Series War Games, and that's exactly what they did. Becky Lynch and Charlotte, they collided, and Bayley ended up rolling up Becky to get the win, and that was pretty much that. That was SmackDown for you. The final cell before War Games tonight should be a very, very fun show, to say the least. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every single one of you who tuned in. It was a very nice, flowing show, as per usual. Had a little mic trouble in the beginning, but we are back in business, and hopefully we should be back in business going forward. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the help. You guys are great. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all of those links in the description. Do not forget that tomorrow is the rewind for Survivor Series at 2 p.m. And then in December, we got Deadline, we got Final Battle, we got World's End. Another big month for pro wrestling pay-per-views as we look to close out 2023 on a high note. Thank you very much to the Final Hoss, to Maria, to Dee Dee, to HooliGrim, to Earl, to everyone. Till next time, I'm DJ Storms, and this has been the Lightning Flash Update. But before we get out of here, you already know the drill, people. You already know the drill. You got to tell me who runs the IWC. Let me take a sip of my ice water right here. Oh, I'll tell you who runs the IWC. Who? But DJ Storms. Remember that. Don't you ever, ever forget it.
'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience for your